I think everyone should read this book, especially anyone trying a difficult task in life or trying to achieve a breakthrough, learn something new. Definitely a highly recommended book for everyone. I hope you can see it on the screen. Yes. So the book is Atomic Habits: Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results. It's written by James Clear. If you can buy the book, buy the book. Get a paper book. It's always more fun. If you can't buy the paper version, get the Kindle version. If you can't get the Kindle version, I have posted the link for the PDF of the Telegram page for those who don't want to buy it. I hope it's not a criminal activity. It's the sharing is done by someone else. I've just posted the link, right? So when you do get rich, do pay the author, buy his book because otherwise all good things will die. But a very interesting book, a super fun read. And we spoke about the power of reading in a previous video. That what are the advantages of being a reader, and this is one of them, right? That you pick up a book like this and you download it into your consciousness, and then suddenly you are better at habit formation, or you understand how they work. And what the book will tell us, or what you might have discovered by yourself, or you will discover later, that quality of life is often dependent on the habits that we have developed for ourselves, right? Yeah, good habits and bad habits, right? Somebody is addicted. I mean, smoking is a bad habit, people say, right? And because of that, they can die. Exercising is a good habit, and because of that, they can live longer. So we kind of know that habits are important. But this book is essentially about a breakdown of the process, a total understanding of how it works, and then helping you develop a system where you can learn anything new, or inculcate into it, a process into your daily life, right? So ideally, I want you guys definitely to read the book. Keep it like a 1 week project maybe, and take it very, very seriously. And it's going to be a fun read. You will learn about the world. You will learn about some psychological experiments, and you will have a good framework of how to build habits, right? And that it will also convince you that why habits are so important at your work, in your relationships, almost in any scenario of life. The habits come in into play very, very heavily, right? So the very first chapter today, I just want to look at the first chapter, and in the very first chapter, uh, or the story starts off by talking about a British cycling team. So now, because we've been doing so much reading comprehension as well, and we've been doing that general specific thingy, the moment the story started with that British cycling team, I knew that this story is given to illustrate the main idea. Just a little reminder of your reading skills also, and how they play out when you try to read a book like this, because you can read it faster than the average reader, because your brain, the moment you read the example, you will know this is an example, let me get to the point. You can go through the story very, very fast, right? So the story is very interesting. The British cycling team used to be a loser team till 2003, and then in 2003 there is a guy called Brailsford. He was hired to fix the cycling team. Now, he didn't do anything drastic, right? What he did was he made the seats more comfortable. He put some alcohol on the tires for less friction or something. He chose the best possible clothes with the least amount of friction. He tried various gels and those sports medicine things. He tried various combos to figure out which has the best recovery. And he made these very small, tiny, incremental changes. And after, I think, a couple of maybe 5 years or so, not too long, during the 10-year span from 2007 to 2017, British cyclists won 178 World Championships and 66 Olympic or Paralympic gold, and captured 5 Tour de France victories, right? So essentially, the point of the whole story, using an example, is to show that small incremental changes can compound and give drastically, not drastic is a negative word, but magnificently positive results, right? The same thing can go in the opposite direction also. Once smoking one cigarette is not too bad, but if you keep smoking, the negative effect also compounds in the same way, and your health will be terrible, right? So right up front, there is a very interesting graph in the story that the power of tiny gains, and we're talking about a key idea in the story, and this is one of those productivity hacks or getting better hacks or just trying to do better in life in any way possible, right? That don't aim for big things, uh, try for 1% better every day, right? So, for example, if you are starting to work out, don't think that you will go to the gym and work out 2 hours a day. Think that, okay, tomorrow I want to do 5 push-ups, right? And then you build on that. The next day I want to do 1% more, which will be difficult, but you say 6 push-ups, right? So this 1% is not exactly mathematical. It's more about this daily incremental approach. And the increment that happens on top of what you have done earlier. So the growth compounds. It's compound interest if you remember from your maths ideas. Similarly, if you go 1% worse every day, you will your performance will drastically go down, right? So, very interesting ideas. And the first chapter is obviously about just trying to convince you, first of all, that there is benefit in habits, obviously. And then there is benefit in these tiny, small, incremental changes. Don't worry about big things. Take a small step and then build on it, right? Another very interesting example, and I think it might be relevant for test takers, especially. And again, you're trying to learn basketball or learn music and learn it fast, it'll play out everywhere, right? So there is an idea of a breakthrough. Where does the breakthrough happen? And the author uses an example of a melting ice cube. Imagine there is I mean, and again, guys, I'm not reading everything. I'm trying to give you a quick introduction to the first chapter and hopefully getting you excited so that you read the book yourself. And then we can discuss it later again. I mean, I already found other things which were very interesting and worth sharing with each other, right? So there's an example of an ice cube. So you're sitting in a air conditioned room, maybe the temperature is 25 degrees, and an ice cube is kept in front of you. And the temperature starts going up by a degree, 25, 26, 27. And you'll see that the ice cube is not changing at all because it's still the same, exactly the same. There's no melting that has happened. But suddenly at 31 degrees, the ice cube will begin to melt and it will melt very, very quickly. The point that he's trying to make is that when you're trying to hit a breakthrough, we've been discussing how to achieve a breakthrough, having a breakthrough mindset, right? Because I have reading skills or DILR or physical fitness, I have a target that I want to cross, right? That threshold, once I cross, after that, the skill becomes very, very easy. So there is that incremental effort, and then suddenly the changes will be very, very clear to see, and then your performance will be way better than before, right? So this might apply to some of you who are preparing and learning, and it says the plateau of latent potential. And there is a valley of disappointment. Latent potential means hidden potential. So what happens is what we think should happen while learning something, we imagine a straight line graph going up, right? We start and as we progress in time, our results should get better and better and better. But what really happens is after the initial maybe excitement and jump, there is a slump where the change is happening, but the result is not visible to you. You have to keep stacking up, keep stacking up, keep stacking up. But after a certain critical threshold of that incremental change, the growth actually becomes way better than expected, right? So similarly, when you're approaching a course, you do ratios and then you do percentages. Uh, either time you reach averages, these two are also helping you perform better at averages, and then it stacks up, right? So that's what, and I think I found it very interesting, especially in our context, that please understand that while learning something new, this is what will happen. You will not have a straight path. You will learn, you will learn, you will learn, but the results will not show, right? And then suddenly the results will show, and then people will say you are an overnight success. So I found this very, very interesting. And then he basically is talking about that you should not be focused on goals and you should be focused on your process, right? So don't worry about your weekly results. Worry about whether you are doing something consistently or not, whether your system is in place or not. So I posted the link on Telegram. I hope you read that maybe 25 pages a day. And again, it will also work as your reading practice. Practice some new words. You will learn some new ideas. You will discover. This is the first chapter summary. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement because once you put in the habit, then it kind of works automatically, right? Habits also take away your emotional burden. So, for example, I have developed the working out habit after great difficulty because half my life initially was just spent in classroom teaching all the time. So I never even thought of working out, and I thought working out was for dumb people. Smart people read books only, right? Which I have realized was a very big mistake. So it was very difficult for me to build that habit because it was new, it was late in my life, and it was challenging, obviously. And who wants to work out? It's better to sit at home, eat something, watch TV, right? So it's difficult to get started with. But now it's in a habit mode. I might think at 8 o'clock that, oh, I don't feel like working out, but I'm automatically on the road, stopping an auto and getting into it, and then going to the workout place, right? So then I'm also surprised that, oh, I didn't feel like it in the morning, but it still happened. So once you automate the process, which is the habit, then progress becomes kind of automatic as well. Habits are double-edged sword. Obviously, if you have a negative habit, if you develop a gambling habit or a drinking habit, your life is going to deteriorate. And once again, the same principles apply. The deterioration will not happen immediately, right? There will be a critical threshold. Suddenly, one day you have a drinking habit and then your kidney has failed. I'm sure you've heard of it in your friends and families in somewhere or in a movie somewhere. They can work for you or against you. Small changes, this is very, very important, often appear to make no difference until you cross a critical threshold. So when you're doing your reading comprehension, first day, second day, third day, fourth day, it might feel like, bro, I learned it, I practiced it, but my scores are not showing. But you must not give up and continue because you know that graph is going to kick off at a certain point, right? An atomic habit. This I've been talking about. I called it, I mean, even before I read the book, I developed this method because there was a lot of work and then you automatically kind of figure things out. Baby steps one, two. Don't think of later in the book. I mean, as you read the book, you will find it out. There is a 2 minute rule, right? For example, if you want to develop a reading habit, don't say that I will read 100 pages, I will read a novel today. Say before sleeping, I will read 2 pages. Let me nail that process down, right? So, doing small things, and that's why the name of the book is Atomic Habit because we're looking at a small, very discrete unit that we can build on. Is a part of a larger system, just as atoms are the building block, etc., etc. If you want better results, then forget about goals. Focus on your system instead. Focus on the system will take you through. This is a very famous quote. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. I think the quote that is roaming around on Instagram is you fall to the level of your training. Right? So super fun book. And again, talking about general and specific, I randomly picked up a chapter and opened it, and once again it started with one specific character. Oh, there is this athlete. Maybe there are a lot of sports people in the story, and she does this. Her routine is hailing a cab, and I was identifying. I was like, yeah, I also hail an auto, which is a cab. And so general specific will help you do these 300 pages, or I don't know how many pages is that, 306 pages or so, much faster than the usual reader because as you're reading, you will immediately know, bro, this is filler material. This is to build the mahal, the mood, to inspire me. Let me get to that, the cheat sheet, the actual, and then you can obviously just read the chapter summaries as well, right? So I hope this excited you a little bit. Just think of it as a reading project. People were asking that what can I read? This is definitely a great read and not only for a test taker, but for most things that you will do in life. If you really want to exceed there and become the topmost person, and I hope somewhere or the other you at least tried once to like push your limits and discover where you can go in the hierarchy of things. you will have to come up with these kind of ideas, right? Okay, how do I now develop this health habit or a learning habit or a music habit, right? And apply to your test scenario. I've been saying this over and over again. Don't plan for 100 days, plan for tomorrow. Think of 100 days every once in a while. Don't even think of tomorrow. Think what you can do in 5 minutes, right? A little micro learning experiment, because often the problem is that beginning is making the start. So this small incremental change makes that starting the story very, very easy. And then destiny and godly forces and they will, the universe will also help you and take you along on your journey, right? So I hope you had fun. I hope you do read the book. Share with me what you read and what you learned. Put down and what you applied in your life and how it worked out. Whenever you finish it, uh, try maybe a week. I will see you really soon in this session with maybe another chapter discuss another day. This is not our top priority, it's exam season also. But I would definitely love to come back to this book and discuss it more and build these processes along with you guys, right? So this is it for today. I will see you really soon with the next interesting idea.